Have any of y'all's parents found you reading fanfiction? There's this one time my dad asked me what AO3 meant. I told him it's a site I used to read books fan-made for free. He thought it was so cool, and 2 days later, I found him reading Superman and Batman having an affair with Wonder Woman on fucking AO3. I got up at dinner time and excused myself to go to my room, and my dad said, "Are you going to read about your gays?" It happened like 10 years ago, and my blood pressure still gets lower when I think about that. My mom called me by my AO3 username at the dinner table. My mom cried because I told her I had a Spider-Man fanfic with 40,000 views, and she was sad I didn't share my accomplishments with her. My mom recommended me a fanfic, and my dad started talking about the mpreg tag at the dinner table. My dad watched me make my AO3 and fanfiction.net accounts, and the only thing he told me was to be careful. He was right. I told my dad about AO3, and he now has 2 published fics, LMAO. He's a real one. When I was 11, I wrote a Suicide Squad X-Reader fanfic on Quotev, and told my mom to create an account and follow me so she could read it. I was telling my aunt I wrote fiction, and she fully innocently was like, "Oh, someone at my work does that and publishes it online. I'll send the link to you later." And I thought it'd be like those Amazon self-published books or something, but no, it was her AO3, and it was entirely filled with Power Rangers smut. Like, really heavy smut. The pure shock I felt that day. My father was on Tumblr for a bit for the art. Half of that site has some really beautiful art, some of the best I've ever seen, and then the other half is just boys kissing. I almost sent my mum the link to my AO3 instead of the actual link I was going to send, and I think I met God. Thank God for AO3's text-based, no-nonsense-looking website. Anytime my parents caught me on it, they just thought I was studying. I'm studying chemistry. My mom knows I write fanfiction because we were playing trivia and it had the question, 50 Shades of Grey was originally what? And I shouted, "Twilight fanfiction!" before the answers even came up. My mom told me to read fanfiction at age 11. Yeah, she read Twilight fanfiction while she was pregnant with me. She also tried to read 50 Shades one day and realized she had already read it. She didn't find me out. I found out she was reading fanfiction. How, you ask? She asked me what a sugar daddy is. I'm not living it down. My parents have known I read fanfic. The shock was my grandma, and the first thing she asks is, "What is yaoi?" because she looked up fanfiction.net and the first updated fic was gay. We were in a car with my mom and I told her I'd tell her later. I told my dad everything about it, and he was like, "So, I can take insert an old classic and put the characters in whatever situation I want?" And I was like, "Sure." After that, I started retelling him every fanfic plot I have ever read while we're driving somewhere. My parents used to beta read my Anne with an E fanfic. Nah, I was explaining My Little Pony fanfic plots to my parents at age 12, and they just tuned me out. Y'all's parents sound cool. My mom demanded to read my Bilford Dolphin crackfic that I made from a dare, and now she thinks I'm gay and depressed. She's right, but my childhood therapist had to tell my mom to let me keep on reading and writing fanfiction so I didn't kill myself. My mom introduced me to AO3. She said if I want to read fanfics, I should look there. My dad asks me to find him fanfiction for shows he likes that get cancelled, and to send him the link. So I go on AO3, heavily filter out anything that comes to mind, and then tell him to read the tags closely before he clicks. I don't think he's realized I'm basically childproofing it by only including general and teen audience ratings. I told my dad the concept of AO3 and fanfiction sites one day, and he thinks it's a scam. My mom told my aunt about my Wattpad and sent her the link to my profile, thinking that I was writing some exquisite piece of literature in there, when it was just Bongchan fanfic. One time, my sister caught me reading gay hobbit smut, and I blamed my mom. Sorry, Mama. When I was like 13, I had to confess to my mother that I liked to read Sans Undertale X-Reader fanfictions because she thought I was doing something devious on my computer. My mom found a fic I was reading and took the phone away from me. 20 minutes later, she comes back and says that Harry isn't a bottom.
What?
Bro, I wasn't even reading anything bad, but my mom tried reading it, so I threw my phone at the wall and broke it. I was phoneless for a month after, but you know what? I don't regret it. Yeah, I read yandere fanfics along with the spicy ones back in middle school. They were concerned about the yandere, but not the spicy. I'm not actually, but one day my mom told me straight to my face that I'd be the type to read slash fanfiction because I give off certain vibes. Not sure what to do with this information. I'm gatekeeping AO3 from my mom because she's gonna start searching up BTS fanfiction and become addicted. I've seen my mom read BTS, the K-pop band, Wattpad fanfiction in public on multiple occasions, and I only see her in person when I go back home for the holidays, so I can only assume this is a regular occurrence. Both my parents read fanfiction. It was just your average thing in my life growing up. When I first started discussing it with friends, I didn't understand why they were embarrassed. My mom and sister have been swapping Pride and Prejudice fanfics. Mom's in her 50s. My sister came into my room and beat me up because I hadn't updated my fic. That's how I found out she read all my fics. My English teacher was showing us a site she used to store passwords, and I saw an AO3 account on there. I recently went to a rock festival with 10 plus people, and one of the dudes is like in his 40s, I'd say. He left his phone with someone who had run off, and he kept complaining about not being able to read his book. I asked him, super excited, what he was reading, and he casually goes, "Oh, Harry Potter fanfiction." You? I knew I didn't hallucinate the AO3 logo. I once heard someone talking about my fanfic at a bar 3 months after I started writing it. Never happened again, but I made sure to dedicate a chapter to them. I used to write fanfiction on paper. My mother found it. Some of it had smut. Hi, Joey here for a quick break. This is an actual photo of Kingdom Hearts crack fic that I wrote as a child on paper. No, absolutely no smut, but I wrote a lot of fanfiction on paper back in the day. Then I graduated to this thing, this tiny little cell phone with a full keyboard. I used to write and read fanfiction on this tiny little thing. So you kids these days with your iPhones, you've got it good. My mom sends fanfic recommendations to me. My mom randomly picked up on reading werewolf romance novels online, and I can't make fun of her because I used to read Homestuck fanfiction. I mean, have you read some of those 80s, 90s romance books? Them things are nasty. My dad wrote Xena Warrior Princess fanfiction when he was young. I'm pretty sure my dad died reading Harry Potter fanfiction. His app was open when I figured out his screen lock. Ope. My mom writes fanfiction. She was a Star Trek, Star Wars comic book fan all her life. I'm sadly not the OG nerd. My mom wrote fanfiction, but it's forbidden. Fanfiction kids do, in fact, grow up and eventually have kids. I just realized someday I'm going to be someone's mom who reads AO3 fanfiction. Big thank you to my Patreon members, my Little Ruse, Nebulatic Vexen, Donka42, John Huang, Laser Scorpio, Night Avenger, Mintara, Somnophobic Danny, Savage Otters, Valzy, Terabyte AIX, Kestrel, Dragonborn Canid, Angie Ender, Kate, and Marpsk. Thank you so much for your extra support. It means the world to me. I really appreciate knowing that you enjoy my content enough to donate to me on Patreon like this. And I'm really happy that I can make you smile, so thank you once more. And thank you to my YouTube channel members, my mini ruse, Foxstar Killer, This Person 10, Rainy Cant, The Black Rainbow, and Alowen North 24. Thank you so much for extra support. I'm so glad to have you be part of my YouTube channel. Thank you for being my little mini kangaroos jumping around with me on YouTube. Really appreciate it and hope you guys are doing well. And thank you to everyone else for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to talk in the comments about your own experiences with parents and fanfiction, the good and the bad. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. I really enjoy entertaining you guys, and this was a fun video to make, so I'll see you in the next one, and until then, goodbye.